For this edition of Ask the Guru, I decided to stick exclusively to questions I get through Tumblr, so let's go. My first question basically asks my thoughts on the long-standing argument that the Rolling Stones album, their Satanic Majesty's Request, is basically a ripoff of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's record. Honestly, I've never really given this one much of a leg to stand on, as I think it's just a focused instance of something that's been happening for decades. Music made around the same time often sounds the same. I mean, they were both huge rock-based bands working on the tail end of the psychedelic era, trying to do something unique and cool. There are easily a dozen other albums released around the same time that you can make the same exact argument for. I honestly don't really see the similarity in the covers either, and if you know anything about the Rolling Stones, they really like to make unique, cool album covers. And if you don't know about them, go check out the original vinyl pressings of the album Sticky Fingers. You'll understand. Personally, I love their Satanic Majesty's Request as an album on its own, and I've always seen this argument as little more than overly fanboyed, bitter Beatles fans trying to cut down the band. The second question asked if I feel there are any artists who have absolutely no redeemable qualities to their music whatsoever. Now, I'm very open about my massive distaste for bands like the Eagles, U2, Fleetwood Mac, Green Day, and a number of other groups. But there is a catch in most cases on this one. While I really can't stand U2 as a band, you can't really deny their impact on popular music over the last 30 years. To do so is ignoring reality, and I hear people try and do this all the time when they want to discount the impact of people like the Beatles, or Bob Dylan, or The Who, or anyone like that. But to answer your question more directly, no, I don't think there's any band in the entire history of music that doesn't have any redeemable qualities to them. And I can basically argue that on one simple point. In theory, they enjoy making their music, and in theory, there's at least one other person who enjoys the music that they make. To me, that's what it comes back to every single time for me, is the artist in question getting their emotions out of themselves through that music, and if that in itself is a yes, then there's your redeeming quality right there. On the flip side of that, it's why I'm always saying you should never apologize for the music that you love. Who cares what other people think? As long as it means something to you, that's all that's important. The last question asked what I thought was the most overrated album from a band when you compare it to the rest of the catalog. Right out of the gates, Bob Marley's Legend compilation jumps immediately to my mind. Yeah, it's got the hits, but please people, go get Exodus or Natural Mystic or Babylon by Bus. There is so much more to Bob Marley than just those dozen songs. Beyond that, I far prefer the Rolling Stones album Let It Bleed over Exile on Main Street, which most people hold as their greatest record. Also, people go on and on about Metallica's Master of Puppets and Justice for All, but for me, Kill 'Em All is absolutely the be-all, end-all Metallica record. I'm sure I could come up with a couple more, but for now, I'll just stick with those. So those are my questions for this week. If you've got a music-related question, go ahead and email me at thedailyguru@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook right here, and I'll see you guys again next time.